I will be brief because most of the ideas that I had in mind were just developed by my predecessors. Let me make 3 comments. The first comments will tackle the context of the Mediterranean today. The second point will deal with the approach as far as the response to bring to these challenges. And the third comment will tackle the instruments necessary to respond effectively to these challenges. Today, this is my first point, we are meeting in a very difficult and complex situation. Democratic transitions in the South Mediterranean, which will be, I will be frank with you, complicated, difficult, and long. Because they are difficult, because there are many parameters. There is a question of leadership. There is a question of economic development. And there is an issue of vision as far as where to move. And in this connection, it was mentioned earlier by my colleague from Egypt and other colleagues, the Islamic dimension, the radicalization is there, and it is an issue that we should tackle together. Addressing the issues of security in the Mediterranean requires a collective strategy, and I would say straightforward, based on partnership and transparency, trust and cooperation. Our objective is clear, all of us, is a permanent zone of peace and stability and prosperity. Today, all the European countries are Mediterranean countries. I was in Sweden, and I'm happy to see that Carl Bett is here today. Sweden is a Mediterranean country because the threats which are affecting our region affect Sweden, affects UK, and affect Germany. And this concept of comprehensive and integrated security should be dealt with here. Now, let me, my second point, talk about the approach, how we should deal with this, to respond to these threats. Today, and it was mentioned earlier, Al-Qaeda is moving. Radicalization is reinforcing. With the crisis in Libya, Al-Qaeda has more access to weapons of mass destruction. How should we deal with this issue? Because if these challenges seem to be, for the most part, unique to the Mediterranean, their impact does not respect borders and can be felt globally. Today, I'll give you a figure, 30% of the cocaine which is exported to Europe comes from the Gulf of Guinea. It is a region not in the Mediterranean, but it is a security challenge for all our countries. So I think what we need is a comprehensive and integrated approach. Yes, we should work on democracy. Yes, we should reinforce the role of civil society in the South. Yes, we should accompany these changes by more political will. And I am very happy to note that the Commission, Europe, has adopted a new strategy to deal with this issue, the Partnership for Democracy and Shared Prosperity. It is important. We have to work on our 2 legs. Yes, for the political development, but yes, for the economic development. And these 2 strategies should go hand by hand. Now, the instruments. Yes, we need some instruments. Europe is working, and I like to take the example of the European action when the wall of Berlin fell down. The reaction of Europe was global, was rapid, very rapid, and we saw the result today, how the Eastern countries were integrated to this European espace économique commun with shared values. So today, as far as the Mediterranean, I think also the response of Europe must be rapid, must be global, and must be novatrice. I don't know how we said, new. Of course, there is one difference. The Eastern countries had not had political perspective as far to join the European Union. The Mediterranean countries have not this political perspective because they are not Europe countries and they cannot join Europe. But when I see something, a new approach is how to include, because the security today of the Mediterranean is the security of Europe. It is an indivisible security. My last point is about instruments. And I'll also be frank here. Everybody now is interested by the Mediterranean. Everybody. New neighborhood policy, Union for the Mediterranean, NATO-made dialogue, new strategic concept, creating new bodies, task force on the Mediterranean. Even at the bilateral level, countries in Europe are thinking because they know today is a priority. So I think we should look for some coherence. We have to avoid duplication. We have to see what is the best way to address these issues. Today, we're happy to see that Europe is reshaping its neighborhood policy. And we're happy to note also that Europe now is thinking about new instruments as far as neighborhood policy is concerned on the regional aspect. New perspective, financial perspectives will be discussed very soon, 2014, 2020. I believe that in this context, some priority should be given to this Mediterranean region, because it is a region of great challenges, great risks, and the future of the Europe has to do with the Mediterranean. Not also in terms of security, but also in terms of opportunities for creation of wealth and job creation. I think what is important today is to work to accompany the political development of the southern countries in Europe, but also how to enhance economic development through job creation and promotion of development. We have to work on our two legs. And in this context, and I will finish by this, the Union for the Mediterranean can be a very important tool to accompany these reforms and on base of project. My colleague of Egypt had already dwelt on this issue because he insisted on the necessity to give the necessary impetus to the UFM to work on these regional projects. Because in fact, what is today needed is how to share this region, how to share our common values of democracy, of human rights, they are essential, how to promote development, and how to fight radicalization. Because if we don't work in partnership, hand in hand, to address these challenges, we will all lose in this context. We have to resolve the ongoing conflicts. I'm not going to insist on this. It's important. We have to move forward and to put back on track the peace process in the Middle East, but priority must be given to development. The example of migration is one of them. Without any comprehensive approach on this challenge, we cannot move forward. Yes, for the control of frontiers, it's essential. Yes, to fight illegal migration, but yes, also for facilitation, for mobility, and for legal migration. And yes, for solidarity. This, I think, is the approach. Today, we're happy to note that there is a partnership between the north and the south of the Mediterranean. And we're happy to see today, and I will conclude by this, that Croatia has been able to conclude a difficult negotiation, because I know it is always difficult to negotiate with Europe. I myself, in my previous job as a negotiator for Moroccan advanced status with the European Union, I realized for 2 years how it was difficult to negotiate. But finally, I think today there is a clear vision as far how to move forward. Thank you.